Sega.
Captain Titus, the orks have massacred the Forge World's forces. And they have taken the planetary defense weapons.
Clever of the damned orks. Keeps us off their backs while they loot the Titan war machine.
Brace for evasive maneuvers.
Pilot, report!
Starboard engine is dead, Sergeant. We are losing altitude.
Get the ship to safety. We find another way down.
Aye, Captain. Thunderhawk Lancer Jove returning to launch bay.
This is your plan.
We need to get to the surface to take out the gun battery. Wouldn't you want to go home already, Sergeant?
Not before having a word or two with the orcs.
Is that wise, Captain? The Codex Astartes does not support this action.
Try to keep up.
What a glorious day for battle! Actually, it's more like what a glorious day to remember how to play this game, because I've never played it on the PC. I had to customize some of the... You know what? I should probably Well, welcome to Warhammer 40k Space Marine. This game gets you right into it really quick. Oh, I gotta... There we go. I'm so awkward playing on the PC. I played this game a lot on... What do you call it? Oh, man. Oh, okay. So if you're new to this game, or the Warhammer universe, you're probably like, what the heck am I looking at? I'm looking at... Am I seriously looking at orcs from a fantasy game that are somehow in a science fiction game? And, well, yes, that's the irony of it. The orcs are so hard to kill from your fantasy games that somehow they actually make it into the science fiction games. That's the... Oh, how dare you? Oh, I see. They want me to destroy these things. I will try to explain a little bit about Warhammer as we go. However, this game, like, there's a lot of action in it. It might be a little hard to do that. Fine, we're going to solve things up close. That's fine. I can do it. We can rumble up close. I'm okay with it. Stop shooting me. Only I can shoot you. There we go. Yes, aim for all of the cleverly labeled red explosive barrels. Oh.
Get off my ship, Space Marine!
The beauty of orcs is how simple they are. You know, like, you might think they say some of the dopiest things, but that's kind of the beauty of the orcs. Oh god, I don't know how to do a combat roll. Combat rolls are really important in this game. The way to get your health back is actually by beating people up. If I can actually get a hang of doing it, I need to actually, like, execute somebody. Okay. It's a little bit like Doom in that regard, though. This game did come out before. No! I need to execute somebody. Let me execute. No! 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 How do I roll? If I could find out how to roll, I'll be in such better shape. Okay, here we go. Now we can execute. Now I'm gonna get my health back. There, you can see, like, right there. And I don't have any good weapons yet. I'm starting the game from scratch, so I don't have any of my good weapons. Oh! No! There we go. There we go. Okay, back to full health, boys. Okay, what is the roll button? I would love to know how to do a combat. Oh, I bet it's spacebar. Yes! We now know how to do the combat roll, boys. There we go. Ugh! You might think that your gun isn't too useful because I'm getting swarmed by these guys, but that's only because I'm using a sidearm. I'm using my pistol. Left control is how I interact. Okay. So if you're expecting, like, elite levels of commentary, like, they're all over me. They're all over me. I can't think of anything to say other than, good God, get off of me. I really hope I get a chance to actually talk about Warhammer and not just try to remember how to play this game. Oh yeah, so we're playing this game because I need to introduce Warhammer content to the channel. You don't understand how big of a disservice it is to not have Warhammer content on this channel. And I was like, what is going to be the best introduction, just to kind of get people the idea, like, what is Warhammer? Because normally Warhammer is a strategy game. It's a tabletop, it's a very old game. It's been around for like 30 years or something like that. And this is one of the few action games they've made. I said, you know what, let's get the viewers started with this. Now, I don't know if these. So a lot of people are going to come to. Oh, these guys look like. You know, these are like.
Damned orcs shot me off course.
I've had no word from Leandros, but I'm picking up Vox chatter from Imperial Guard forces on the ground.
I scarcely thought anyone would be left alive, much less still fighting.
Heading towards the front lines now.
I will meet you there.
Some of you guys will be thinking, this game looks like a rip-off of Gears of War, or this game looks like it's a rip-off of Halo. Let me tell you, these games, Warhammer has been around much longer than Gears of War, much longer than Doom, much longer than all of those other games. It's been around, the fantasy Warhammer has been around since the 70s, and the science fiction universe, which is what we're watching, has been around since the 80s. But we're playing a game with, well, not this particular game, but we are in a video game universe with history. Got a legacy behind it, much like Battletech. Battletech's been around for... Ooh, is there a secret over here? This looks like a side path. I can't remember. Yeah, this is a secret. Gimme. An audio log. Oh, I guess I gotta manually listen to... Blah! Blah! I'm not here to do that. I am here to massacre. I'm here to kill. So, what am I? I am Captain Titus, a Space Marine commander. And not just any Space Marine commander. He is an Ultramarines commander, which is my favorite. Oh, here we go. We got a real weapon. Finally. We have the bolter. The 998 Godwin pattern bolter is the characteristic Space Marine battle rifle, firing self-propelled explosive tipped rounds. Press mouse to fire. Whatever. I can figure that stuff out on my own. Switch weapons. Can't I just rotate the... Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this weapon is basically an assault rifle. Of course, one thing you probably haven't gotten a sense of is how much bigger I am than the typical human. Don't worry, when we run into a normal human who's not a Space Marine, you will see that I tower over them as a giant. So, a Space Marine assault rifle is basically like a normal human's vehicle-mounted heavy machine gun. Because as a Space Marine, I'm huge. I believe, like, I'm probably about 7 or 8 feet tall. I am, I've got like all these redundant organs. Like I've got 2 lungs. I got like 2 hearts and 4 lungs. I'm superhuman. I got superhuman strength, superhuman regeneration. That's why I'm able to like just pick people up and body slam them like they're basically children. And even these orcs, like these normal everyday orcs, are actually bigger than the typical human as well. So that's why the orcs are a problem, because they're so physically strong. They actually take quite a bit of damage to kill, and they can use weapons with a lot more recoil that a normal human would not be capable of using effectively. And unfortunately, one of the problems with ranged combat is that I can't execute anybody. So I actually have to cower like a loser. I can't just run into glorious melee combat. But that's fine. These guys, though, you have decided to come down to my level, and I will face you in glorious melee combat. Oh, yes. Give me my health back. I will stab you with my combat knife. Once I get a real melee weapon, we'll be fine. This weapon, the bolter, is no ordinary weapon either. You'll notice that when I shoot them, there's a lot of blood spatter. Like notice how like the blood just kind of like blasts off of them in chunks if you're paying attention. The reason for that is because the bolter fires basically small explosives. It doesn't fire ordinary bullets. So basically, when it hits people, it sinks into their flesh, and then it explodes inside of their body. And a typical person would be killed in one hit by a bolter, just because of how much catastrophic internal damage you would take from it. But these orcs are a bit tougher than the typical human. Examining their skull with a combat knife tends to get the job done, though. Come and get you! You're up there! Come down to me!
Codex Astartes warns against using jump packs to leap blindly into enemy fire, and for good reason.
Your days as a novice are behind you. Why do you still interpret the Codex so narrowly?
I looked at its rules for guidance.
We all do. But there are also benefits to thinking for yourself, Games.
Enemy sighted!
Now, as someone who doesn't know much about specifically the Ultramarines, many of you will probably agree with Titus here. You'll say that, you know, it seemed like a good idea. You know, we're superhuman and we can handle that kind of, what some might consider a suicidal entry. Like, that's actually fairly normal for a Space Marine. But the reason why Leandros is saying that, okay, one thing you need to know, there's like hundreds of Warhammer books, and I've read basically all of the Ultramarines books because I love the Ultramarines. There's many different kinds of Space Marines. They're divided into 1,000-man armies known as chapters, and each chapter kind of has their own culture and ethos. And
Sedona's picked up local Imperial Guard communications. They survived under the shadow of that gun. I want to know how.
And the Ultramarines are known for following a particular text. They view it as basically a Bible of strategy. It was written by their father, the guy who founded the Ultramarines. I don't know how to pronounce his name to this very day. I think it's Rabute Gilliman. Most people make fun of him and call him Robot Girly Man because a lot of people don't like the Ultramarines because they're kind of the poster boys of Warhammer, and they're like, oh god, like, you guys are so prim and proper, like, you know, you and your like polished parade armor, you know, you're not like the real Space Marines that get in there and get dirty. But what makes the reason why people hate the Ultramarines is exactly why I like them. The Ultramarines are obsessed with following the rules. Like, they take the holy work of Gilliman. We're just going to call him Gilliman because I do know how to pronounce his last name. They take his writings as like gospel. And to deviate. Oh, so here's a normal human. Look how big I am compared to you. Like, oh yes, you know, little human. Oh, so these humans. So if I'm a Space Marine, these guys are basically the army. They are Astra Militarum. That's their High Gothic name. But they're probably better. Not probably. They're definitely better known as the Imperial Guard, which is their Low Gothic name.
My lord, you have saved us.
Rise, Guardsmen. You saved yourselves. We thought you did.
We would be, my lord, if not for the lieutenant.
Where will we find this lieutenant?
At the front lines. Follow the trench network to the lieutenant's command bunker.
Carry on, Guardsmen. We rendezvous with Sedonos, then we find this lieutenant. We need updated intel on the gun battery.
So immediately, some of you are probably triggered by the pronunciation. They're like, lieutenant. No, it's lieutenant. A lot of these guys have English accents because Games Workshop, the people who made Warhammer 40k, is an English company.
The bunker is beyond that.
So another example is, like, people often make fun of a particular...
Million orks, and they fight on.
What? Only a death. No. Get off! My legs. I can't feel my legs. I got to see a Space Marine before the end. God, Emperor. Watch over those who fight in your name.
So unlike the Space Marines, the Imperial Guard are ordinary humans. They have the best mass production gear that we can afford, but there are trillions of guardsmen, and they would be too expensive to give ultimately the best technology to. Their equipment is good for the enemies, for normal enemies. Unfortunately, the story of the Imperial Guard is typically one of sacrifice. Maybe that's not unfortunate. They're very heroic.
I'm in position at a broken monument near the guard lines.
They're very heroic in their own way. Like, the guardsmen are expected to die by the millions to hold the line. Ooh, that's another... We can get a new weapon there.
Sergeant, see you found something to keep you busy.
Worry not, Captain. I've saved some orks for you. The orks have got that gun well defended, no mistake. But typical ork behavior would be to dismantle or destroy the gun.
And certainly not use it to keep our forces at bay. There's a strategy behind it. Their leader is no fool.
This day is getting interesting.
I may have
You may
encountered
find that...
during our jump to the surface.
That
Dialogue.
was the orc ship
Dialogue.
crash near here, I take it. Did he survive?
If the Horde hasn't turned on itself, it's still under his control.
You may find their dialogue to be like, wow, they're not taking this seriously at all. One thing, and like I said, this in order to introduce you to Warhammer, it really helps to have someone who knows a lot about the universe. One thing to know is that Space Marines are ageless. I mean, they age, but they don't die of old age. Many of these, like Titus is probably 200 years old, maybe 300 years old, maybe even older, and he's seen so much combat that it tends to be a bit normalized, unless it is absolutely the most desperate of battles. A lot of Space Marines, they're unfazed by the common combat situation. So we just got the chainsword, a real melee weapon. The Mark 11 Hell's Teeth chainsword is the close combat weapon of choice among Space Marines, combining terrifying power and great speed. This is a proper melee weapon. Let's go ahead and give it a swing. There we go. The chainsword is basically a chainsaw that has a handle and a guard to make it a more logically wieldable weapon. But as you will see, we are able to now, we should be able to just dominate these people. Oh yeah, yeah! Oh my god. The chainsword is where it's at. We now have much stronger combos and abilities. And I can execute people with incredible violence! I must execute people. I must have violence! And what's nice is you can seamlessly switch between melee combat and guns, just like that. Like melee combat, guns. It's really nice. Like the game flows really beautifully in terms of like the combat. Oh man, they keep adding in all these different things I want to talk about. Because Warhammer is such an awesome universe, but like I said, it's been around for a long time, so... sometimes you just have to pick people up and saw them in half, even if they ask you not to do it. Sometimes it just has to be done. Into the trenches, boys. Anyways, God, what do I talk? There's so much to talk about in Warhammer. It's like, oh my god, I could go on for hours about it. Okay, let's talk about this idea of... so it's going to be a reoccurring theme.
Target that squig.
Oh, so we got the self-destructing squigs now. I believe squigs are technically a type of orc. The orcs are a plant being. I mean, if you want to get technical, I don't know if you would call them like basically a flora fauna, like a plant animal. And that's because they actually grow from fungus into fully adult orc things. That's basically what orcs do, which might sound really weird, but that's also why orcs are really hard to get rid of, because they reproduce by sweating and by dying, and when they die they release spores, and the spores will eventually, in time, germinate into new orcs. So typically, to completely get rid of orcs, it involves burning the area. You gotta like torch the entire area, destroy all the spores. It's very difficult to do. But so a reoccurring theme in this game is going to be this idea that Titus kind of does things his own way, and that is rather sinful in the eyes of the Space Marines, which is why his sergeant's actually a very high rank in the Space Marines. Sergeant is like if you're a sergeant, you're in kind of an advisory role. Like you're very important in the Space Marines as a sergeant. And that's because there's only 1,000 Space Marines in a particular army. Okay. Let's go ahead and just destroy all of this. I'm going to fall back over here to our Imperial Guardsmen to give them help. So the weapon there, you're shooting these lasers. Those lasers are known as las guns. And the las gun is typically made fun of as being like, oh, some people call them like glorified flashlights. They're quite deadly against enemies who are not thickly armored. So like, if the guardsmen were fighting their own kind, or, you know, maybe there was like a revolt they had to put down, the weapon would be very effective. I can throw hand grenades now as well. I love how he just kind of like tosses it, like just because of your superhuman strength means, yeah, I'm just gonna casually just flick a hand grenade at people. Now don't worry, you might think, oh man, you seem like you're kind of OP. Don't worry, there's a reason why I'm so OP. Like, the Space Marines were created because there are super OP enemies in the Warhammer universe that require Space Marines to have a chance to actually kill them. So, don't worry. There are things bigger than Space Marines out there.
Incoming.
We're holding them off quite well, actually. I thought that this would be quite a battle in close quarters combat, but we are thinning them out. Although I'm starting to... Maybe I spoke too soon. Hand grenade. Get back. Hold them back. Hold the line. We are the Imperium, and the Imperium overcomes. Come on, Captain Titus. Give us some inspiration. Give us an inspiring quote. Okay, so here's a slightly bigger orc. You'll notice, like, you'll see our bullets are kind of like tinging off of his armor. It's because he's got like really heavy armor. Wow, I can't believe we killed him, man. Oh, probably because I'm playing on normal, not playing on hard.
We thought we were done for. Where is your commander, Guardsman?
Inside, but the door is sealed.
I believe they will let us through. Imperial Guard, we are Ultramarines. Open this door.
That's right. So the funny thing is, like, there's a good look at this las gun that this guy's got. And these guys are all designed straight out of the board game. Like, if you were to buy a pack of Imperial Guardsmen, they would look just like this. It's really like, you know, they're really trying to, you know, they're making our characters look a bit more fancy just so that they stand out from a typical Space Marine.
Another horde of the Greenskins are headed here from the south. Damn corrections, they can off in Saul's throat some nights ago.
That's right. Rise and pay respects.
Position. Hold the line. And stay alive.
Aye, Lieutenant.
Thank the Emperor. Second Lieutenant Mira, 203rd Cadian Regiment.
Captain Titus of the Ultramarines.
You are in command.
I'm all that's left, my lord. Unless my commanders rise from the grave. So far, they seem content to stay put.
Lieutenant, the scouts have returned to forward base.
How many?
2.
Damn. I sent out 10. That damn gun. We don't have the numbers to make an assault. And as you might have seen, it's shooting down all our support vessels.
That is why we are here. Leave the gun to us.
Come with me, then. I should warn you, my lords. We've got a slight orc problem down here.
What's this? Another upgrade.
Genetic scan complete.
Purity seal. What does this give me? Ah, Fury, which is my, like, Berserk mode. Wait, I'm sorry. Fury mode. But I wouldn't want to sound like I'm a Chaos Worshipper. Fury! Now you gain Fury every time you damage an enemy. Once the Fury meter is full, press T to enter Fury mode. We get super strong and regain our health and stuff like
Only
that.
that our troops were sent to guard the Titan Invictus at Manufactorum Ajakis. That was 2 weeks ago, and we've lost contact.
We need to reach that Titan.
Your fastest route is across the rail bridge behind the gun complex. It leads directly to the western gates of the Manufactorum.
All right, boys. Oh, I'm so frustrated. I want to talk. There's so much to talk about this game. There's so much history, but like, I'm gonna leave it here as a nice little introduction. You know, I don't think we're gonna get another cutscene like this where it's like a good stopping point for a while. And you know, this is just kind of a taste of the Warhammer universe. And like I said, have some faith. You know, you might think like, oh, isn't this game derivative? No, remember, this is a game with history. It's been around for a while. You know, have some faith. Put some faith in the God Emperor. Put some faith in Fox, because Warhammer, it definitely deserves some attention. If you've not seen it before, give it a chance. Anyways, I will continue my crusade, and we'll talk more about this idea of Captain Titus taking matters into his own hands, deviating from the strictures of the Codex Astartes, despite his own sergeant warning him that there's a reason why we Ultramarines follow the Codex so closely. It's going to be interesting too, because like I said, I believe from your perspective as the viewers, you're probably going to side with Titus. I think most people who don't understand the Ultramarines will, and that's good. It'll make an interesting interaction, because I will give you a much better explanation than Sergeant Leandros can. Anyways, until next episode, we're going to see that thing over there? That big old planetary gun, that's our objective. We're going to be heading over there. And I'm going to figure out more how to play. I will remember how to play this game. It's going to be good. Anyways, like this video if you found it intriguing. Subscribe for future Warhammer 40k Space Marine content. And of course, remember that you don't have to be good to get good.